Hey, this is Jesse Davis and from WholesaleDealsForYou.com, WholesaleDealsForYou.com, and I'm talking today about the Jackson, Mississippi rental market, and one of the questions that I'm often asked is, what are the rents like in that area? And so basically what I'm going to talk about is kind of the South Jackson, North Jackson type rental market, my experience. Okay, this is my personal experience. You may find this be totally different, but this is from my personal experience in my owning houses in this area. Typically, you can expect for rent anywhere on a good, nice 2-1. You can typically expect anywhere from $500 to $550 on a 2-1 in South Jackson. Now we just rented a 2-1 not too long ago for $650, but it was a really nice 2-1. So you got to, if they're really nice, you can rent them higher. But on a typical average, just kind of thinking about how you would go in, I would say for the 2-1s somewhere around $550. For a 3-1, I would say pretty much $650. Is where I would be at for a 3-1. A 3-2, well, actually a 3-1 would probably be more around $600 to $650, depending on how nice it is. A 3-2 would be anywhere from $650 to $700, $725, somewhere in there. That's basically what I've seen for my personal houses and getting rent on those houses. And then for anything larger than a 3-2, either a very large 3-2 or a 4-bedroom plus house, you can get up into getting to in the $750, $800, $900 range. But you're pretty much tied. I think the most that I have rented a house out in South Jackson right now on a pretty large house is right at $950, $900, $950. But it's very nice brick big house. So those are the houses. That's typically the rent range that you can get in South Jackson. It's pretty much the same in North Jackson. You might get a little bit more in North Jackson than in South Jackson, but typically it's about the same. Northeast Jackson, Pearl, I mean, you can get up there and start picking up some more rent on the higher end properties. And in Brandon, you know, you can definitely get some higher end properties. In Brandon, if you're around the reservoir, you can pretty much get anywhere from, I don't know, $1,000 to $1,200 a month on some typical houses. So, you know, anything over in that area, it just kind of depends on the house and the exact area. You know, they kind of vary a lot depending on how nice and how big and everything. So you might want to contact me if you have a question about a certain area in Brandon, Pearl, Ridgeland, or, you know, some of the nicer areas. But in South Jackson, you know, typically what I said as far as the rents, you know, 2-1, $550, 3-1, $650, 3-2, you know, anywhere from $650, $700, $750, somewhere right in there is where I would think that you would get most of your rent. So just to recap real quick, most of the properties in this area, as far as South Jackson, North Jackson, you're looking at a 2-1's probably going to pull about $550, a 3-1's probably going to be somewhere around $600, $650, and a 3-2 is probably going to be somewhere around, you know, it depends, $650 and up. I just rented a 3-2 for $700. I mean, excuse me, a 3-1 for $700. It depends on how nice you make the house. If it's a nice house, you can get some really good rent. I've got a 3-1 that is rented for $690. I've got a 3-1 that's rented for $700. So, I mean, you can get the rent in this area. It just depends on how nice your property is. If it's a low-end property, you're not going to get the top rent. That just makes sense. So, typically, those are the ranges that I've seen on my personal properties. And if you have any questions or concerns, or you want to know more about the Jackson, Mississippi rental market, buying rental houses here in this area, in Pearl, Brandon, all the surrounding areas of Jackson, Mississippi, please go to WholesaleDealsForYou.com, WholesaleDealsForYou.com, and sign up. You'll get my contact information, and just give me a holler, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about the area and how you can get started building a rental portfolio in this area, and just give you a little bit of advice on what I found and owning properties for a while. And I'd love to help. So I look forward to you know, getting to know you, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.